We've got some new faces and a lot of new teams that are going to be kind of confusing to pay attention to. Some of the new names are actually teams you've seen before, but we've got our predictions. We've kind of already done these on stream. If you guys want to ever join these, twitch.tv/Lawler, so you can kind of see the logic and more of the thought out process. But I'll try to do a quick recap so this video doesn't take 20 minutes on you guys. Familiar faces, obviously, in the sense of K-Corp, BDS, you know, you've got Vitality, some familiar faces, but obviously a lot of the rosters have changed. K-Corp staying the same, Gentlemates is staying the same, Vitality is staying the same, BDS is staying the same. Oxygen no longer has EXO. They are now bringing in Joyo of Moist. Luna Galaxy is the Magnifico roster, but Stizzy, as you guys know, went over to Dignitas, so now they have a Chronic and Xperi coming in. Jobless is the former Moist roster, but now have EXO. So you had EXO leave and then join the team that the player was from. So Joyo leaves, joins his spot, and then they just kind of swap hands. You then also have Resolve, which a lot of people are like, Williams Resolve, Grid serve Resolve now. How are they in this bracket? What happened? They basically purchased the Redemption roster. So Cash and Ivan are now 2/3. So they keep the Redemption points, and then they brought Raziers and rebuilt around him. So Resolve is there. Team 3, as you guys know, the Mark by 8 Catalysm team are now with Noah Saki. So Noah's coming over, which is pretty dope as well. Outside of that, some new faces, but some familiar names. George, if I'm pronouncing that right, Growly, Breezy, and Hibbs. Some of the Hogan mode love from there. Dignity, brand new. Not familiar with any of them, but they're all French, so no surprise that they're involved. Fast Forward has changed around as well. They brought in Smokes from what was Endpoint. Endpoint now has Toxic, who was on top Cougars. Like, there's been some mixings. We'll have more of an identity develop as these go. Pretty straightforward through the bracket. Obviously, you're going to have your 1-2, in my opinion, being K-Corp and BDS and Vitality and Gentlemates all fighting each other in the 3L round if things go as expected. Keep in mind with any of these brackets, anytime I have a 3-2, that means it's a coin flip. It could go the other way. But between K-Corp and Gentlemates, I think Gentlemates, even though they most recently won the event, not only was that a while ago, you're also talking about a play style difference. I think K-Corp online is arguably the best team in the world just because they play a very aggressive, very close, in tandem type play style off ball, as well as making sure that as soon as the play doesn't develop anymore, someone is right there to take it over. So K-Corp, I think online does really, really well. As for Gentlemates, I think Gentlemates does the best at midfield presence. I think they have a very, very good understanding of when and when not to challenge, how to space. Itachi, and based upon some of the replay analysis that's been done lately, Itachi has some of the best 50-50 game in the world, and it like very much so translates to the offline play, LAN play, where things aren't as chaotic, things aren't as risky, because people are more afraid of the mistakes and the circumstances. But online, that's why they play a very close series. So I think Gentlemate's probably going to concede to K-Corp. Hopefully it's a good fight. And then Vitality, BDS. I'm hoping that Vitality, with their new mental coach and stuff, kind of kicks things into gear and take down BDS. Hopefully we get some different results from what, you know, has kind of been the standard. Expecting the same teams to win, but hoping we get some parity in the top 4. Outside of that, a couple things that I want to bring up. The Luna Galaxy roster, I don't know how I feel about a Chronic instead of Stizzy. I don't know what that's going to look like. Obviously, Xperi coming in is going to provide some much needed love. But I think they have potential to do some good things, but I also think it's going to be kind of an up and down. Someone in chat even mentions it. Team 3 and Resolve, I think, is a very exciting first round. You've got what was that Redemption roster going up against Team 3 with Noah. I think Noah brings some much needed offense to the team because they've been so defensive. I am very excited to watch Nozaki and Catalysm play offense together and see how that's supported by Mark. But at the same time, I think, you know, Resolve has reasons as to why they were a top 5 to 10 team. So curious on what that's going to look like. Not sure how Raziers is going to slot in. I saw them have some hiccups. Also, shout outs to the Resolve roster. I'm putting out their documentary video behind the scenes showing what Tadpole does. Very interested to see how that one progresses. Outside of that, you're talking about teams like 100% and Wild and Forward and all the other teams that are kind of on the low end of things. I don't know what those teams are going to develop into. I don't know what kind of consistency they're going to provide. Ford has consistently found ways to get to this point, but then has struggled. When are they going to get their upset game? We'll see how that plays out. Second round, high seeds winning. Nothing surprising there. The only thing is maybe Oxygen plays upset. I don't know. I have not seen anything about this team, what kind of strengths they're going to look like with Joyo. I do think their offense has gotten better. Nothing against Ixo. I think Joyo is a more stable and more consistent upgrade on the offensive half. Maybe that provides a little bit closer matches, not going to round 5 every single time, which is what my prediction is. On the low sides, your first teams get eliminated 100% in Dignity. I don't know enough about Dignity to prove confidence in them. Have they had results? I think they've gotten 1 RLCS point previously in top 32, but that's it. So glad to see them crack into the top 16, but I think that's where it's going to end 0-3. And as for 100%, I don't know if I agree with the new additions for the teams. Lewis, Crispy, and Triton. I don't know if that's enough for them to go and get wins. And the reason why I pick the George roster is because I do have some familiarity with the roster. I think there's a lot of talent between Growly, Breezy, and Hibbs. That to me screams upset dark horse team. I think that George roster could definitely play surprise for some, which is what I have them doing in round 4. I have them upsetting Fast Forward. So cool stuff there. Middle of the pack games are pretty straightforward. Picking the high seeds. The big upset I do have is the former Redemption team winning over Magnifico, just to create some parity and have some fun there. And then Team 3 over Fast Forward. I think that Team 3 roster with a little bit more offense could be a really, really stable team that plays upset. Outside of that, we go into round 4. Gentlemates, I don't ever see conceding to that team. I think their fundamentals are way too good. BDS, I think, has too much offense for that Resolve roster. Redemption has struggled against those top 4, which was when they were Redemption. And then I'm hoping that Joyo playing his former team has some like deep-seated, like, I'm gonna go and create some issues. We've seen him kind of prove that in the past. Curious to see how it goes. Ironically, when they were with G1, he was on the receiving end from Oli, so we'll see how that goes. Very fun series here if that happens. People are asking about Nord. That Nord team is Eugen, Gom, and Pisky. The reason why I have them beating Wild, even though Wild I really like tempo, is because Nord has 2 French players, and that to me is enough to choose them to win. So we believe in the French. It hasn't steered us wrong in a very long time. We then get to our 5th and final round, where I have Jobless over George, because I do think Jobless has proven with 2/3 of their team they are the better team. Same with Redemption, now Resolve, and then Luna Galaxy over Team 3. This one could be a very interesting series. Depends on how offense is played and if Team 3 can win on the counterattack game. I've seen it happen before. With that, then we drop down to the lower rounds, and K-Corp over Resolve. As much as I love Redemption, I've never seen them go toe-to-toe against K-Corp, and I don't foresee that happening. The big decider match, though, that we've managed to create in our joking script is that Gentlemates and Oxygen is basically the decider of who goes to LAN, potentially. Like, that is a direct head-to-head that is, in my opinion, Gentlemates, while on LAN, is very, very good, but they are beatable online because of the playstyle that they have. Oxygen might be able to steal that one. I'm going to choose fundamentals over the potential that I am not familiar with yet, which sounds boring, but that's what I'm going. No, Lock, you're being weird, dude. Vitality and Galaxy, I don't think they... I think with a Chronic sitting a little bit, I have a hard time of believing it to be true. But say Luna Galaxy upsets Vitality somehow, another big thing for them making the major. Again, making top 4 is so important, especially if you have all of the top 4 of previous not playing each other in these matchups. So a chance to control your own fate is basically what I'm determining. And for the low seeds, I have yet to see a reason why we don't believe in the top 4 consistently winning, when, like, the only time they beat each other is the time that you see the opportunities open up. So unless you have some of these guys going in the 3-2 round, or they're playing each other and knocking each other out, I don't foresee those upsets happening. And I'm going to choose to believe in K-Corp and BDS at the moment. I think BDS and Vitality is always going to be a fun one. I'm curious if Zen is going to be the difference maker and he can push through. If Monkey Moon's mental is going to stay stable, him and Jolly are going to continue to develop. Maybe Exotic starts popping off again. Don't know how those are going to play out, but these are always a coin flip. They're always fun to watch. I'm choosing to pick K-Corp because I still think they're the best team. especially in the online era. On LAN, it's a little bit different story. It's a little bit more even, but that is what I have for my predictions. Again, as a clarification, I know I'm going to be wrong. I know these aren't going to happen. I know these matchups aren't going to happen because game differential is always going to be different from what I have. But I usually am okay with our like 6 out of 8 or 7 out of 8 top 8 teams making it into the quarterfinal. So if you guys want to know more of my opinions on how these are going to play out, stop by the stream, twitch.tv/Lawler. We'll be doing watch parties this weekend to tune in and enjoy who ends up beating who. I'll try to watch as many matches. I think for the YouTube stream, we'll put it in horizontal mode just so you guys can see the 4 box and make it a little bit easier. But that is what we got. As always, if you enjoy the content, like, subscribe, notifications. Let me know what you guys got down below for your own predictions, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.